God says, "My beloved child, hear me closely." The moment your soul began to awaken, the heavens paused in reverent silence, waiting for you to notice. You do not yet realize the weight of your steps, the sacred importance of this hour, or the unseen forces circling your name with intent. Every star, every whisper of wind, every subtle alignment in your life is no accident. Your path has been guided, measured, and guarded since the very moment your spirit began to seek truth. Even now, as you read these words, a gate has opened before you, a gate not of this world, but of the spiritual realm, a passage that carries the winds of favor and the currents of destiny directly toward your life. Archangel Michael speaks with urgency. Child, I stand at your threshold, sword raised, wings expanded, a shield of light encircling your essence. I am not here to speak in riddles or metaphors. I am here to warn, to awaken, to ensure that you recognize what is unfolding. This is not mere inspiration or motivation. This is the moment when the spiritual veil thins and the alignment that was written long before your birth begins to descend into the physical realm. Tonight, everything shifts. The cosmos itself has conspired for your elevation. The doors that were previously closed, locked by circumstances, doubts, or the designs of others, are now opening. But you must pay attention. You must not scroll past. You must not allow the casual distractions of the world to dilute the potency of what is arriving. You may feel unaware, lost, or even skeptical. That is expected, for the human mind cannot immediately grasp the magnitude of divine orchestration. But even in your doubt, you are being observed. Every heartbeat you take, every breath you draw, has been witnessed by angelic hosts who monitor the currents of your life with precision unmatched by mortal standards. Archangel Michael has been stationed over your spirit, watching, guarding, ensuring that no darkness, no scheme, no curse, no misaligned intention can penetrate the sacred plan unfolding for you. Even the enemies you have not yet recognized, even those who smile as they mock or conspire in hidden corners, are accounted for in this divine design. They do not move without permission. Their opposition, though seemingly powerful, has been carefully managed to strengthen your readiness, to prepare your heart and mind for the arrival of what is rightfully yours. God says, "My child, you have suffered. You have endured nights that carried more weight than your shoulders could bear. You have cried silently, hidden your pain. And yet, even in your suffering, you maintained a thread of faith. That thread was not unnoticed. Every act of patience, every whisper of prayer, every moment you chose integrity over convenience, has been meticulously cataloged in the book of eternity. The angels stand as witnesses not only to your trials, but to the unwavering spirit that has emerged from them. And now, the time has come for the reward. This is not a metaphorical reward, nor is it simply comfort or reprieve. It is a profound restoration, a financial and spiritual alignment that will declare to the universe, the child of God who persevered will inherit what was always theirs. Archangel Michael continues, "My beloved, there is urgency because the forces aligned against you are persistent. There are those who, knowingly or unknowingly, seek to divert your blessing. There are people whose actions, intentions, or words are designed to block, delay, or misalign the flow of your favor. But their schemes are null before heaven. I have already dispatched 3 angels to counteract every dark act intended against you. Every attempt, every plot, every word spoken in malice is being reversed and rendered powerless. Yet, child, your role remains crucial. Awareness, belief, and action in alignment with this message are required. The window is narrow. A single disregard, a moment of doubt, and the opportunity will shift. Not forever, but long enough to alter the timing and intensity of the blessings meant for you. Timing in the spiritual realm is sacred, precise, and unforgiving. You may ask, why this urgency? Why now? God answers, because you were always destined for abundance, for influence, and for spiritual recognition in the earthly realm. The delay you experienced was never punishment. It was refinement. It was preparation. Without the fire, the steel remains untempered. Without the struggle, the soul remains untested. Every obstacle, every betrayal, every moment of financial insufficiency was designed to produce resilience, wisdom, and spiritual authority. The inheritance arriving is not merely money, it is proof of divine alignment, the manifestation of years of unseen work, and the fulfillment of promises written before time began. Archangel Michael emphasizes, child, pay attention to your surroundings. Every coincidence, every meeting, every message arriving in the next hours is a vector for divine intervention. You are being watched, guided, and positioned. The spiritual and the earthly realms are converging in unprecedented alignment over your life. The light around you is growing. The spiritual atmosphere thickens with favor, and the protocols of heaven are being enacted for your receipt. Angels are poised, the scrolls are being unsealed, and the energy of provision is beginning its descent toward you. God says, "My beloved, you are not receiving this message by accident." The choice to open these words, to read, to engage, is itself an act of alignment. The universe has directed you here, to this sacred threshold. Now, your response matters. Recognize the sacred nature of attention, focus, and acknowledgement. This is the hour when spiritual preparation meets tangible reality. The inheritance, favor, and transformation are ready, but you must be ready too. Your heart, your mind, your spirit must synchronize with this declaration. Archangel Michael concludes this opening revelation with solemn authority. I am stationed over your path. I have cleared obstacles unseen, silenced the voices that conspire against you, and I stand ready to escort your blessing into manifestation. But you must choose faith. You must choose belief. You must choose recognition of the divine orchestration around you. No earthly force, no human opinion, no shadow of fear can interfere if you align with this moment. Tonight, the heavens are moving on your behalf. Tonight, the spiritual veil thins. Tonight, the winds of favor carry your name directly to the doorstep of destiny. God says, "My child, lift your eyes, open your heart, and acknowledge this sacred moment." The world may seem unchanged, but your life, in every unseen, every unspoken, every immeasurable way, is about to be altered. Archangel Michael waits, the angels wait, the winds of heaven wait, and all that is required is your recognition, your attention, your willingness to step into the flow of divine favor. This is your hour. This is your moment. You are seen, you are chosen, you are prepared, and you are about to witness what the heavens have been orchestrating in silence for your life. Archangel Michael speaks. Child, now you must understand the magnitude of the forces that have tried to stand against you. This is not a story of coincidence, nor is it the exaggeration of imagination. There are people, energies, and intentions that have actively worked to block your blessings, delay your inheritance, and confuse your path. Some act knowingly, some unknowingly, but the impact is real. Every attempt to disrupt your alignment has been recorded in the spiritual records, cataloged by the angels, and is now being dismantled as you read these words. There is a woman, yes, one who watches, waits, and conspires. She has sought to manipulate your destiny through dark forces, rituals, and secretive conversations. 2 days ago, she consulted a psychic with the purpose of obstructing the favor that heaven has prepared for you. She spoke your name under a cursed bowl of water, hoping to bind, trap, and delay what was already written in the scrolls of eternity. She does not understand that her efforts are ineffective against what God has ordained. Archangel Michael has already deployed 3 angels specifically to dismantle every strand of her interference. The cursed water, the spells, the whispered words, all have been neutralized. But you, child, must act in alignment, or the opportunity will be delayed. There are others as well, shadows that move in human form, who have sought to deceive and derail you. People you trusted, friends who smiled while secretly mocking, colleagues who spoke behind your back, relatives who envied your future. They have all attempted to intercept the flow of divine favor. Archangel Michael says, every one of these attempts has been observed. Every betrayal, every whisper, every action of concealment is accounted for. But unlike what they intended, their opposition is now being exposed. Their influence over your life is dissolving, and the truth will soon become visible in ways they cannot control. You may have felt unseen struggles, inexplicable delays, sudden losses, or confusing setbacks. These were orchestrated not as punishment, but as tests and filters. They were designed to separate what is genuine from what is false, what is aligned from what is deceptive. The spiritual realm uses obstacles as calibrators of readiness. Those who are unprepared are naturally filtered out, while those whose faith, integrity, and patience remain unshaken move closer to receiving their ordained inheritance. You, child, have demonstrated unwavering faith even in the silence, even in the dark. That is why you are still standing. That is why you are about to receive what no one else will receive. Archangel Michael now reveals the intricate mechanics of spiritual opposition. Forces of darkness do not simply manifest randomly. They operate under permission and within the confines of universal law. Their whispers are meant to provoke fear, distraction, and doubt. They place obstacles in your path designed to mislead your thoughts, distract your attention, and derail your faith. But even in their most subtle efforts, they cannot override divine will. Every attempt to sway you away from your purpose has been countered by intervention from heaven. I have stood at your side, guarding, shielding, and intercepting these negative forces at critical moments. Every phone call you were about to take that would have led to a loss, every conversation that could have drained your energy, every choice that could have shifted the alignment, all have been intercepted by angelic precision. Child, understand this. The spiritual opposition is not abstract. It is highly targeted. There are forces that watch, measure, and anticipate your moves. There are people who unconsciously or deliberately attempt to manipulate your path. They envy your success. They fear your rise. They do not understand the sacred purpose of your life, but they sense its power. This is why Archangel Michael emphasizes vigilance. You must guard your attention, your thoughts, and your environment. Every action you take in this sacred window will either accelerate your blessing or allow delay to creep in. God says, I allowed these trials because I knew you could withstand them. I allowed opposition to refine you, to prepare you, and to prove your faith. Every curse attempted against you, every negative word, every spell, every thought meant to deter your joy has been recorded and neutralized. But your responsibility is to act in alignment. You must not feed fear with doubt. You must not allow curiosity to pull you toward distraction. You must honor the moment with sacred focus. There is more. Some of these spiritual opponents operate under a collective energy designed to manipulate multiple destinies. When they attempt to obstruct you, they also invite disruption into other areas of your life: health, relationships, finances, and spiritual clarity. But the angels have moved to erect walls of light around every domain of your life. Your home, your workspace, your digital environment, and your personal interactions are now shielded by heavenly guardians. These forces of protection are invisible yet powerful, preventing every attempt to redirect, delay, or diminish what is coming. Archangel Michael says the enemy's panic is palpable. They sense your alignment. They sense that the heavens are favoring you. They sense the arrival of the inheritance and the activation of favor that will elevate your life beyond their understanding. That is why they act in desperation. Their tactics intensify when a breakthrough is imminent. You may have noticed unusual events, sudden confusion, or inexplicable interruptions. These were their last-ditch efforts. But now, the floodgates of favor are opening, and nothing can stand in the way. God says, child, the opposition you face is not punishment. It is an acknowledgement of your worth. The more persistent the obstacle, the greater the blessing that has been prepared for you. Every act of interference is evidence that your life matters. Every attempt to block you confirms that you are being noticed in the spiritual realm. The opposition is not stronger than you because it is not permitted to be. You are under divine protection, under the direct watch of Archangel Michael, and under the oversight of the Heavenly Council. Your inheritance is safe. Your destiny is intact. Archangel Michael concludes this revelation with a solemn decree. The moment you acknowledge this message, the powers aligned against you begin to lose their grip. The woman who sought to manipulate your path, the friends who secretly mocked, the forces that conspired to create fear, all are being exposed and dismantled. Their influence is breaking. The curses, spells, and negative intentions are dissolved. Their schemes no longer have power over your timeline. The spiritual atmosphere around you is being purified, cleared, and elevated to receive the fullness of your blessing. The child of God reading this must now stand firm. Recognize the seriousness of spiritual opposition and the sacred nature of divine protection. Align your thoughts, words, and actions with the recognition that nothing can hinder the flow of what is written in eternity. The windows are open, the scrolls are unsealed, the angels are poised, and you, beloved, are about to witness the dissolution of all opposition and the arrival of a blessing that has been prepared since the foundations of the world. God says, "My beloved child, now you must understand what is about to be revealed. The moment you have been waiting for, the inheritance that has been written in the scrolls of heaven since before your birth, is ready to descend into your life. This is not metaphor, not fantasy, not exaggeration. It is reality prepared by divine orchestration. The numbers, the timing, the sequence, the exact manifestation of provision, all have been set in motion by the heavenly council. Archangel Michael stands ready, wings fully extended, sword gleaming, guarding the sacred transmission that is your inheritance. The inheritance is not mere wealth, it is a spiritual and financial alignment designed to transform every aspect of your life. God says, the $55 million that is being released is the seed of a much larger legacy. This is a supernatural transfer, a fulfillment of promises whispered in the prayers of your ancestors, of blessings they could not receive, and of miracles that were always meant for you. This is your time, your hour, and your declaration to the universe that you are no longer bound by limitation. Every delay, every hardship, every season of scarcity has led to this moment. You are stepping into favor that exceeds imagination, beyond what human eyes can fully comprehend, yet it is being prepared for you now. Archangel Michael says, I am watching, I am guarding, I am directing. Every movement of this inheritance is precise. The timing is sacred. At exactly 9 p.m. tonight, the window will open fully. The scrolls that contain your name, written in divine light, will release their contents. The wealth, the restoration, the provision will begin to manifest in ways that will astonish even those closest to you. This is no ordinary blessing. This is a supernatural assignment of prosperity, destiny, and authority. Child, understand that this inheritance carries with it both abundance and responsibility. It is not merely about money, it is about alignment, integrity, and purpose. The spiritual realm has ensured that all obstacles attempting to intercept your inheritance are neutralized. Every curse, every ill-intentioned word, every force designed to misalign your favor has been dismantled. Archangel Michael has deployed angelic forces to oversee the transfer, ensuring that nothing, no human, no circumstance, no spiritual interference can disrupt this moment. Yet God says, your attention, your faith, and your alignment are required. This is a sacred activation. You must engage fully with your belief, your acknowledgement, and your readiness. Child, the inheritance is also a recognition of your heart. You did not come into this world seeking fortune for vanity or pride. You asked for peace, for purpose, for the opportunity to serve and to rise above struggle. God says, I have seen your generosity even in moments of scarcity. I have observed your prayers, your quiet acts of kindness, your unwavering faith amidst trials. This inheritance is the reward for your integrity, your patience, and your readiness to receive what is divinely ordained. Archangel Michael says, do not underestimate what is coming. This inheritance is connected to multiple dimensions of your life. It is designed to transform not only your finances, but your spiritual authority, your relational alignment, and your capacity to influence and heal. A legal matter that has haunted you may find resolution. Hidden documents that were once lost or overlooked will appear with your name clearly indicated. People who have opposed you, doubted you, or envied you will witness the unfolding of divine justice and favor. This inheritance carries the power to shift narratives, restore honor, and establish a foundation that will ripple through generations. God says, this inheritance is a fulfillment of promises made long ago. It is the reward of faith that has remained unshaken despite trials, betrayals, and delays. The $55 million is the beginning, the seed. Over the next 5 years, the multiplication of favor, provision, and influence will exceed all human expectation. Your life will be transformed in ways that are visible and invisible. Opportunities will appear, connections will align, and doors that were once closed will burst open. This inheritance is more than money. It is a key to unlocking your full potential, your purpose, and your destiny. Archangel Michael speaks, child, the moment you read this, you are standing at a threshold. The scrolls have been prepared, the portals are aligned. The angels are positioned, and yet this inheritance requires your participation. You must affirm, acknowledge, and receive. Speak the words of faith. I receive. I am aligned. I am ready. Let your spirit open fully, for the flow of provision will not enter hesitation, doubt, or distraction. The inheritance is prepared to move swiftly, but your recognition and willingness to receive are essential components of the divine transfer. The spiritual mechanics of this inheritance are profound. God says, a man, a messenger, a divine intermediary will appear in your life at the appointed time. He will carry a portion of the blessing that has been prepared. He does not yet know you fully, but he is being guided by angels and by divine orchestration. When he meets you, the recognition will be unmistakable. The words he speaks, the interactions you share, will serve as confirmation of what is already written in the scrolls of heaven. The inheritance is not abstract. It is being delivered in tangible, precise ways that can be witnessed, documented, and honored. Archangel Michael emphasizes, this inheritance is also a purification of past injustices. Those who have conspired against you, who have sought to manipulate or delay your success, will find their influence removed. Their attempts to intercept or redirect your favor are now exposed and rendered powerless. This is not revenge, child. This is restoration. This is justice. The divine order is correcting every imbalance, every misalignment, every delay that was once allowed by human ignorance or spiritual interference. God says, this inheritance is also your responsibility. The $55 million is not merely a personal blessing. It is a tool for legacy, for service, and for spiritual impact. You are being entrusted with resources to heal, to restore, and to elevate. Your actions following the reception of this inheritance will echo through your family, community, and spiritual lineage. The angels are watching not only to deliver the provision, but to ensure that your stewardship is righteous, aligned, and purposeful. Every dollar, every resource, every opportunity must be used to honor this sacred gift. Child, recognize the magnitude of this moment. This inheritance is the culmination of unseen work, divine planning, and the patience you have exercised throughout your life. It is the answer to prayers that were whispered in solitude, the fulfillment of visions you may not have fully understood, and the reward for faith that never wavered. Archangel Michael says, the $55 million is more than money. It is freedom, restoration, empowerment, and alignment with your highest destiny. It will cancel debts, restore dignity, and create opportunities that will have been impossible before now. Finally, God says, this inheritance is a sign of divine orchestration and the power of alignment. When you receive it, you will understand that no human effort alone brought this about. The timing, the channels, the synchronization of events, the people involved, all are orchestrated by the heavens. Archangel Michael will continue to guard, guide, and protect until the final transfer is complete. And as you receive, child, your heart will know the truth, that every moment of struggle, every trial, every night of silent prayer, every act of faith was preparing you for this miraculous release. Archangel Michael says, child, now you must prepare. Preparation is not optional, it is sacred. The inheritance, the favor, the divine $55 million is ready to flow, but only into a vessel that is properly aligned, attentive, and sanctified. This is your responsibility. Heaven has moved mountains, opened scrolls, and dispatched angelic forces. The spiritual mechanics are in place. But your heart, your mind, your spirit, these are the instruments through which the inheritance must pass. First, you must prepare your spirit. God says, clear your mind of doubt. Silence the voices that whisper fear. Any lingering skepticism is not merely mental. It creates resistance in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael stands guard to protect the flow, but you must not interfere with hesitation or disbelief. This is a sacred moment, a divine window, a celestial alignment that will not wait for indecision. To prepare, begin with surrender. I surrender my doubt. I receive with faith. I align with divine will. Say it, feel it, declare it. The spiritual vibration of your words will open the channels that allow the inheritance to descend. Child, next you must prepare your environment. God says remove distractions, disturbances, and negativity. The next few hours are sacred. Do not allow trivial interruptions, careless conversations, or toxic energy to enter your space. This is not about isolation for its own sake, but about creating a vessel that can receive undiluted blessings. Archangel Michael is stationed around you, but even the most powerful angel cannot fully deliver the inheritance if your attention is scattered. Your focus must be single-pointed. You must be awake spiritually and mentally. Prepare your environment like a temple. Cleanse it physically and energetically. Light a candle if you wish, speak prayers, and invite the angels to stand closer, to guard the perimeter of your blessing. Preparation also requires silence. God says, speak only words that uplift, that affirm, that strengthen alignment. Avoid arguments, disputes, or negative conversations. Negative words carry vibrations that create resistance. Do not engage in gossip. Do not entertain criticism. Do not allow fear to seep into your words. Speak life. Speak faith. Speak gratitude. Archangel Michael says, the angels are counting your words. Every word that is aligned strengthens the flow of inheritance. Every word that is distracted or negative weakens it. This is a spiritual reality, not symbolic. Your words, your tone, your speech, all affect the reception of the blessing. Child, you must also prepare your heart. God says, release resentment, forgive those who doubted you, and detach from envy, bitterness, or anger. Carrying these weights blocks the energy of favor. Even if others wronged you, even if betrayals are fresh, let forgiveness be your shield. Archangel Michael says, the inheritance is not just about receiving wealth, it is about elevation of the soul. The $55 million is a vehicle of transformation. If your heart carries grudges, the fullness of what is coming cannot anchor. Forgive, release, and allow divine love to fill the space once occupied by doubt and bitterness. Preparation includes vigilance. God says, be alert to signs, messages, and confirmations. The inheritance may manifest through human channels, digital communication, or unexpected opportunities. Archangel Michael emphasizes, do not ignore subtle nudges, messages, or calls that carry divine timing. Your attention is a key component. Your awareness is the lock that allows the divine key to open the door of provision. If you are distracted, if you scroll past, if you dismiss the signs, the energy of alignment may pause or shift. This is not punishment, it is the sacred principle of readiness. Favor waits for those prepared to receive. Child, prepare your faith. God says, belief is the current that draws the inheritance to you. Do not question, do not resist, do not rationalize. Heaven operates beyond human logic. Archangel Michael says, your reasoning mind may doubt, your past experiences may warn, but in this sacred hour, faith is the bridge between the spiritual and the material. Affirm, I believe, I receive, I trust, I am ready for my inheritance. Repeat it, feel it. Let it resonate in your entire being. Faith is not passive, it is active participation in the unfolding of divine will. Preparation also includes gratitude. God says, gratitude is the magnet for miracles. Give thanks in advance even before the inheritance is visible. Thank God for protection. Thank God for alignment. Thank God for the $55 million that is already written in eternity. Archangel Michael says, gratitude amplifies reception. The angels are charged by the vibrations of your appreciation. Every sincere expression of thanks accelerates the manifestation and solidifies the connection between heaven and earth. Gratitude is not optional, it is a requirement for the flow of abundance. Child, remember that preparation is both internal and external. Internal alignment ensures that your spirit is a pure vessel. External alignment ensures that your environment, actions, and interactions are conducive to reception. The inheritance will be delivered through precise channels, but those channels require cooperation. God says, do not attempt to control the flow. Do not try to manipulate outcomes. Preparation is about opening fully, not about forcing the miracle. Let the angels guide, let divine timing orchestrate, and let your faith remain unwavering. Archangel Michael says, you are being observed closely. Every decision, every thought, every moment of attention matters in this sacred window. Any form of distraction, any lapse in vigilance, any engagement with negativity can delay or diminish the inheritance. But you are ready. Your past trials have prepared you. Your patience has proven you. Your faith has established a resonance that is perfectly attuned to receive. Now your preparation is the final alignment needed to allow the full measure of blessing to descend. Child, be aware of spiritual decoys. God says, there are entities, human or spiritual, who will attempt to distract or mislead in this hour. They may appear as unexpected messages, tempting offers, or conflicting opinions. Archangel Michael warns, do not engage with these distractions. Recognize them, but let them pass. Focus solely on the path of reception. Your inheritance is protected, but only in alignment. Your vigilance ensures that the sacred flow is not delayed. God says, as you prepare, know that this is also a test of obedience. The inheritance is ready to move, but readiness requires action, attentiveness, and alignment. By preparing, you are demonstrating that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you can steward this blessing responsibly. Archangel Michael says, this preparation is not just spiritual, it is practical, tangible, and essential. It is the bridge between the divine declaration and earthly manifestation. Finally, child, prepare your joy. God says, receive this moment with expectation, with hope, with excitement. The inheritance is a gift, a restoration, and a declaration of your worth. Let anticipation fill your heart. Do not fear, do not doubt, do not resist. The angels are aligning everything for your elevation. Archangel Michael says, joy is a powerful energy that strengthens the channels of blessing. Let your heart be open, let your mind be clear, and let your spirit be fully engaged. Your inheritance is ready. The moment is sacred. The alignment is complete. Now receive. Archangel Michael says, Child, now the hour has arrived. The moment you have been preparing for, aligning for, and believing in is breaking into the physical realm. God says, "This is the manifestation of the inheritance, the $55 million that has been written in the scrolls of heaven, now beginning its descent." This is not metaphor. This is not symbolic. This is the sacred orchestration of divine provision, moving from the spiritual into the material. Child, take a deep breath. Center yourself. The heavens have opened, the angels have positioned themselves, and the portal of favor is fully aligned. Every detail has been prepared with precision. The man who carries the portion of your inheritance, the divine intermediary, has been guided to you. He may arrive unexpectedly in ways that seem ordinary to human eyes, but extraordinary to the divine. God says, remain alert, remain centered, remain receptive. Do not let doubt cloud this sacred moment. Archangel Michael says, the manifestation will not always arrive in the way you imagine. The inheritance may appear through digital confirmation, legal channels, financial transactions, or unexpected announcements. Do not limit the miraculous to your expectations. Be open to every possibility, every sign, every confirmation. The $55 million is already in motion. Heaven has orchestrated it so that it cannot be intercepted. The barriers that once stood in your way, the forces that tried to delay, block, or misalign your favor, have been removed. This is a direct response to your faith, your patience, and your preparation. God says, child, notice the subtle signs. A sudden message, a notification, a phone call, an email, or even a person appearing in your path, all are potential vessels of the manifestation. Archangel Michael says, do not dismiss them. Every detail is calibrated to your spiritual and physical readiness. The angels have prepared multiple channels of delivery, ensuring that the provision reaches you without delay or distortion. Your vigilance now is critical. Every moment of awareness strengthens the flow. Every moment of distraction risks the fullness of the manifestation. The moment of manifestation is also a time of spiritual awakening. God says, as you witness the first signs, you will feel a surge of clarity, joy, and divine confirmation. This is the awareness that heaven has acted on your behalf, that your inheritance is real, and that your life is about to be transformed. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the manifestation is not only financial, it is spiritual. The $55 million is the gateway to higher levels of purpose, authority, and influence. It carries blessings that extend beyond money, touching relationships, opportunities, and legacy. Child, understand that the manifestation is instantaneous in the spiritual realm, yet may appear gradual in the physical. God says, do not measure the miracle by human standards of speed or expectation. The spiritual release has already occurred. The physical confirmation is following the divine timing. Archangel Michael says, your recognition, acknowledgement, and readiness will accelerate the flow. Speak affirmations. I receive, I am aligned, I am worthy, I am ready. These words are not empty. They resonate in the spiritual atmosphere and strengthen the connection between heaven and earth. The angels are fully engaged in this hour. Archangel Michael says, I stand as the gatekeeper, the protector, and the conductor of this sacred flow. The forces that previously attempted to intercept your favor have been neutralized. The woman, the doubters, the hidden enemies, they are powerless in this moment. God says their influence over your path has been severed. Their attempts to misalign your destiny have failed. You are fully protected, fully aligned, and fully ready. Child, the manifestation is also a confirmation of divine justice. Every act of faith, every silent prayer, every moment of struggle, every tear, every moment of patience is now honored. The $55 million is a statement that heaven sees. Heaven remembers, and heaven rewards. Archangel Michael says, the financial release is not just for comfort, it is a declaration. It validates your journey, confirms your faith, and restores what has been delayed. This is the fulfillment of promises that have been written since before your birth. God says, be aware of the synchronicity in this hour. People who were previously obstacles may now become witnesses to the divine orchestration. Conversations that seemed coincidental will carry deeper meaning. Messages that arrive unexpectedly will be divine confirmations. The inheritance is arriving with signs, wonders, and confirmations that leave no doubt. Archangel Michael says, your awareness is a key component. Recognize the timing, embrace the alignment, and receive with a pure heart. Child, the manifestation may include multiple streams of provision. Do not limit your mind to one channel or one form. God says the $55 million may arrive through a series of confirmations, an unexpected account update, legal acknowledgement, financial correspondence, or even the appearance of people guided by heaven to transfer your blessing. Archangel Michael emphasizes, each element is orchestrated, each detail is planned, each movement is precise. Your role is simple: stay aligned, remain faithful, and receive. The manifestation is also a moment of spiritual elevation. God says, as the inheritance moves, so too does your consciousness. You will begin to see the divine fingerprints on your life. Opportunities, clarity, and insights that were previously hidden will emerge. Archangel Michael says, this is the moment where heaven and earth intersect. You are being lifted, not only in financial favor, but in spiritual authority. The $55 million is a catalyst for transformation, for restoration, and for empowerment. Child, understand the sacredness of this hour. God says, distractions, doubts, and trivial concerns have no place now. Archangel Michael says, you must protect your attention and your energy. Focus entirely on the manifestation. Let your heart expand with faith. Let your mind be clear of fear. Let your spirit resonate with gratitude. This is the hour of divine release, and your full participation ensures the smooth descent of the inheritance. The moment of manifestation is also a test of your receptivity. God says, be alert to confirmation, but do not doubt its reality. Archangel Michael says, the spiritual realm has aligned every detail. The $55 million is already moving, already allocated, already destined for you. Your acknowledgement, your faith, your readiness are what allow the full measure to flow. Do not resist. Do not hesitate. Do not question. Receive fully, wholly, and without reservation. Child, as the manifestation unfolds, expect signs of immediate transformation. Legal barriers will shift, debts will be canceled, hidden blessings will surface. People who mocked or doubted you will witness the fulfillment of divine promises. Archangel Michael says, these confirmations are not for their understanding, they are for yours. To strengthen your faith, to confirm your alignment, to solidify your belief in divine orchestration. The inheritance is not only financial, it is a multi-dimensional elevation of your life. God says, be mindful of the sacred responsibility. The inheritance is a tool for purpose. It is meant to restore, to elevate, to heal, and to build legacy. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the $55 million is a beginning. It is the seed for generational impact. Your stewardship, your alignment, your actions following this manifestation are what determine the fullness of blessing. Use wisely, act righteously, and honor the divine principles that govern abundance. Child, the manifestation is also accompanied by divine confirmation. God says, look for signs, confirmations, and interactions that reinforce the reality of the inheritance. Archangel Michael says, each sign is a trumpet blast from heaven, a signal that the flow is authentic, unalterable, and permanent. The angels are stationed at every channel, every intermediary, every point of contact. The $55 million is unstoppable, indelible, and irreversible. Finally, child, rejoice. God says the moment of manifestation is not only about receiving wealth, it is about stepping fully into your destiny. Archangel Michael says, the heavens have moved, the angels have acted, and the inheritance is now in motion. The portal is open, the scrolls are unsealed, and the favor is flowing. Receive fully, with faith, with gratitude, with readiness. The $55 million is yours. The alignment is complete. The manifestation is happening now. Archangel Michael says, child, now that the manifestation is underway, you must understand the sacred duty of guarding your blessing. God says, the inheritance is powerful, transformative, and sacred. But with great favor comes great responsibility. The $55 million is not just wealth. It is a spiritual transfer, a divine tool, and a key to your destiny. Just as heaven orchestrated its delivery, so too must you sustain the alignment that allows it to remain with you and multiply. Child, guarding your blessing begins with vigilance. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the enemy does not rest. Forces that once tried to intercept your provision are still observing, still scheming, still searching for gaps. Your focus, your faith, your actions, all serve as the shield and channel for the inheritance. God says, Remain alert to subtle attacks, disguised doubts, and spiritual distractions. They may appear as unexpected news, tempting offers, or even the voices of friends and acquaintances. You must discern, you must filter, and you must remain aligned. God says your words are instruments of power. Archangel Michael warns, every careless word can create energetic cracks in the protection surrounding your blessing. Speak only with intention, with faith, with authority. Avoid complaints, negativity, and idle discussions about your inheritance. Child, secrecy is sacred. Share your plans only with those whose hearts and intentions are pure, who celebrate your elevation without envy, fear, or doubt. Guard the knowledge of your blessing as a treasure, because in doing so, you preserve its integrity. Sustaining alignment requires gratitude. God says, continue to give thanks, even in moments when the provision has not fully materialized in the physical realm. Gratitude is not only acknowledgement, it is energy that amplifies favor. Archangel Michael says, every sincere expression of thanks strengthens the flow and repels interference. Child, make gratitude a daily ritual. Speak it, feel it, and embed it in your heart. The angels record every word, every feeling, and respond with acceleration of blessings. Preparation continues even after manifestation. God says the vessel of your life must remain pure, focused, and aligned. Avoid negative influences, toxic attachments, and manipulative people. Archangel Michael says, people who tried to hinder you in the past may still linger, testing your faith, tempting your attention, or trying to provoke jealousy or fear. Do not engage. Your obedience, your restraint, and your alignment act as a shield around your inheritance. Child, discipline is crucial. God says, your actions must reflect the sanctity of the blessing. Do not squander, do not mismanage, and do not make impulsive decisions that could destabilize the flow. Archangel Michael says, wealth without discipline is vulnerability. Guard your accounts, guard your decisions, guard your energy. The inheritance is both a gift and a responsibility. It carries power to restore, to heal, and to multiply, but only if it is honored and stewarded wisely. Spiritual hygiene is vital. God says, maintain daily practices that keep your soul aligned with divine will. Prayer, meditation, fasting, and intentional reflection act as conduits for sustained favor. Archangel Michael emphasizes, regular spiritual maintenance strengthens the aura, repels interference, and ensures that the inheritance remains untouched by negativity. Child, your commitment to these practices signals readiness to receive continued favor and long-term prosperity. Boundaries are sacred. God says, protect your relationships, your energy, and your space. Archangel Michael says, some people will attempt to siphon your energy through emotional manipulation, envy, or subtle control. Recognize these forces and detach with grace. Do not let anyone diminish your joy or distract you from the purpose for which this inheritance was released. Guarding the blessing is as much about spiritual awareness as it is about physical protection. God says, child, use wisdom in financial management. Archangel Michael emphasizes, blessings are not merely to satisfy personal desire, they are instruments for legacy, restoration, and purpose. Invest with discernment, build with strategy, use the resources to fulfill your destiny, honor your ancestors, and create impact. Mismanagement, haste, or impulsivity can weaken the flow. Child, act with divine guidance, seek counsel from trustworthy sources, and remain aligned in every decision. Protection extends to thoughts and emotions. God says, maintain mental clarity, emotional stability, and spiritual composure. Archangel Michael says, negative emotions like fear, doubt, or resentment can create energy gaps through which interference may enter. Replace them with faith, joy, and expectation. Your mind is the conduit for the manifestation. Guard it vigilantly, because spiritual alignment is maintained not only by actions but by inner harmony. Child, be aware of divine timing. God says patience is required to sustain alignment. Not every part of the inheritance will appear instantly, and not every breakthrough will be immediate. Archangel Michael says, trust in the divine schedule. The universe is orchestrating sequences that maximize favor and multiply blessing. Your role is not to rush, but to remain faithful, attentive, and obedient. Every moment of trust solidifies the permanence of the blessing. Accountability is sacred. God says, surround yourself with people who reflect integrity, faith, and wisdom. Archangel Michael emphasizes, those who walk with you during this period should uplift, guide, and celebrate without envy. Avoid false friends, opportunists, or voices of doubt. Accountability ensures that your alignment is preserved, that the inheritance remains secure, and that the spiritual momentum is maintained. Child, generosity is part of guarding your blessing. God says, giving amplifies favor, multiplies blessings, and aligns you with divine flow. Archangel Michael says, the inheritance is not solely for comfort. It is a tool for restoration, healing, and elevation. Share wisely, strategically, and with intention. Every act of generosity, no matter how small, signals readiness to receive further abundance. It creates a cycle where blessing begets blessing. Mindfulness is essential. God says, remain present in every decision, every interaction, and every thought. Archangel Michael emphasizes, distractions and careless choices can dilute alignment. Stay aware of your energy, your surroundings, and your intentions. Every action you take either strengthens the flow or weakens it. Vigilance is not fear, it is stewardship. It is the sacred duty of one who has been entrusted with divine favor. Child, continue to listen to divine guidance. God says, the angels communicate through subtle nudges, feelings, dreams, and synchronicities. Archangel Michael says, the inheritance will continue to multiply as you heed instructions from heaven. Ignore distractions, trust your intuition, and act when prompted. The alignment of the spiritual and physical worlds is ongoing, and your responsiveness ensures the full manifestation of the blessing. God says, humility is crucial. Archangel Michael emphasizes, maintain a heart that acknowledges the source of all favor. Recognize that the $55 million is a divine provision, not solely the result of human effort. Child, pride or arrogance can weaken the flow. Stay grounded, stay grateful, and honor the process. By maintaining humility, you preserve alignment and invite further expansion. Child, guarding the blessing is also about discernment in relationships, opportunities, and decisions. God says, not every offer, not every person, not every opportunity aligns with your highest good. Archangel Michael says, filter carefully. Protect the inheritance from misalignment, misuse, or misdirection. Trust in divine wisdom. Avoid shortcuts, impulsivity, or temptation. The integrity of the blessing is preserved through disciplined discernment. Finally, child, sustain alignment through constant faith, gratitude, and vigilance. God says, the inheritance is now a permanent part of your life, but its power multiplies as you remain aligned. Archangel Michael emphasizes, your spiritual posture, your attentiveness, your obedience, and your readiness all continue to activate greater levels of favor. The $55 million is not an endpoint. It is the beginning of generational impact, restoration, and divine legacy. Child, remember this, guarding the blessing is a sacred act. Sustaining alignment is your responsibility, but it is also your privilege. Archangel Michael says, you have been entrusted with a divine inheritance. Protect it, honor it, and steward it wisely. Do not allow distractions, negativity, or doubt to interfere. Your vigilance ensures the flow of favor, the multiplication of blessing, and the continuation of your destiny. God says, as you guard this blessing, you are establishing a legacy that will endure for generations. Archangel Michael says, child, the blessing you now hold is not a conclusion but a beginning. God says, the inheritance of $55 million is not only about your life, it is about eternity, legacy, and the weaving of heaven's plan into the fabric of your family, your community, and generations yet unborn. What you carry is not temporary favor, but eternal significance. Child, understand this. The inheritance is designed to outlive you. God says, you are the vessel through which heaven has chosen to deliver restoration, healing, and prosperity. Archangel Michael emphasizes, your role is both personal and generational. The decisions you make, the ways you steward this wealth, and the alignment you maintain will ripple across time. What you do today shapes tomorrow's testimonies. God says, integration begins within. Spiritual alignment is not separate from wealth management. It is the foundation of it. Archangel Michael says, to integrate the inheritance into your life, you must let it flow through your spirit, soul, and body. Do not see it as money apart from God. See it as God expressed through provision. Every dollar carries divine instruction. Every resource holds spiritual potential. Child, When you treat the inheritance as sacred, you create a legacy that is eternal. The eternal legacy begins with identity. God says, "Do not forget who you are in me." You are not defined by the blessing. The blessing is defined by your identity as my child. Archangel Michael emphasizes, humility will anchor you, while arrogance will disconnect you. Your inheritance is secured in the unshakable truth that you are chosen, beloved, and destined. Guard your identity, for it is the key to sustaining the flow. Child, God says, the legacy of the inheritance is not measured only in material assets, but in transformed lives. Use the wealth as a tool for impact. Archangel Michael says, create systems that outlast your lifetime. Foundations, works of charity, investments in education, in healing, in restoration. Every life touched by your obedience adds a brick to your eternal legacy. Child, money that circulates only in consumption disappears. Money that flows into purpose multiplies across generations. Integration requires wisdom. God says, spiritual alignment must shape how you manage, invest, and distribute the blessing. Archangel Michael emphasizes, wealth can either liberate or entrap depending on the wisdom applied. Do not chase trends or follow the voices of the world blindly. Seek divine counsel. Study, learn, and grow in understanding. Child, wisdom ensures that your inheritance is not wasted but multiplied for divine purposes. Child, the eternal legacy is also built in family. God says, teach your children and those who come after you the source and purpose of the inheritance. Do not let it become a tool for pride, division, or waste. Archangel Michael says, instruct them in humility, gratitude, and stewardship. Let them know the blessing came from God, through obedience and alignment. When they inherit both the wealth and the wisdom, the legacy becomes unbreakable. Spiritual integration also means using wealth as a shield and a sword. God says resources can protect, resources can build, resources can destroy darkness. Archangel Michael emphasizes, invest in truth, in justice, in the lifting of those oppressed. Let your inheritance become a fortress for righteousness. Child, when wealth is aligned with divine mission, it becomes more than currency. It becomes a weapon against poverty, despair, and generational curses. God says the eternal legacy must reflect heaven's values. Do not let greed or fear dictate your decisions. Archangel Michael says, remain aligned by asking in every choice, does this reflect heaven? Does this honor God? Does this create life and light? The child, when wealth is guided by heaven's values, it cannot be corrupted. It becomes eternal, transcending banks, governments, and systems of men. Integration also involves healing. God says, use the inheritance to heal wounds from the past, your own, your family's, your communities. Archangel Michael says, many blessings are delayed or diminished because past wounds remain unaddressed. Break cycles of scarcity, trauma, and division by intentionally directing your resources toward restoration. Child, healing ensures that the inheritance does not perpetuate old pain but plants new seeds of joy. Child, legacy is not built in a day. It is built in consistency. God says daily decisions create eternal patterns. Archangel Michael emphasizes, every time you choose alignment, every time you act with integrity, every time you honor the source, you are writing history. Your legacy is not a single act but a rhythm of faith, obedience, and gratitude. God says, child, eternal legacy also means recognizing that wealth is temporal, but the impact is eternal. Archangel Michael says, one day, your physical body will return to dust, but your choices, your impact, and your alignment will echo in eternity. Do not hold tightly to the material, but hold tightly to the mission. The inheritance is a tool for transformation, not an idol for possession. Spiritual integration requires constant communion. God says, stay close to me. Do not let wealth distance you from intimacy with heaven. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the enemy often uses comfort as a weapon, lulling hearts into complacency. Child, do not lose the fire of your devotion. Let your inheritance fuel worship, not replace it. Let it deepen your reliance on God, not weaken it. Generosity is the hallmark of eternal legacy. God says, give not only out of abundance, but out of alignment. Archangel Michael says, generosity plants eternal seeds. Every act of giving, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, creates ripples that heaven records. Child, the wealth multiplies when it is shared. When hoarded, it stagnates. When released, it flows endlessly, creating rivers of blessing that nourish generations. God says, "Child, do not fear the future." Integration means trusting that the blessing is secure. Archangel Michael emphasizes, fear of loss can sabotage the flow as much as carelessness. You are not the keeper of the inheritance, God is. Your role is to steward, not to clutch. Legacy is preserved by faith, not by anxiety. Finally, child, the eternal legacy culminates in surrender. God says, every blessing, every breakthrough, every dollar ultimately returns to me. Archangel Michael says, surrender is not loss, it is alignment. When you recognize that the $55 million belongs to God, you release fear, pride, and control. You live in freedom, knowing the inheritance is both yours to steward and heaven's to expand. Child, remember this, your life is now a testimony. God says people will see the inheritance, but let them see beyond the wealth to the glory of God. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the true legacy is not the money itself, but the transformation it enables, the lives it restores, and the faith it inspires. That is eternal. That is integration. That is destiny. God says, child, walk forward now in alignment. Guard the blessing, sustain the flow, and build a legacy that transcends time. Archangel Michael says, heaven has entrusted you with a mission that will echo in eternity. Your obedience today creates miracles tomorrow. Your alignment ensures that the $55 million becomes more than wealth. It becomes a living testimony of divine provision, eternal favor, and unshakable destiny. Archangel Michael says, child, it is done. Heaven has spoken, the seal has been placed, and the confirmation has been written in the scrolls of eternity. God says, what has been declared over your life is not imagination, not coincidence, and not mere hope. It is decree. The inheritance of $55 million has been released into your timeline, into your destiny, into the framework of your life. No force of darkness can erase it. No delay can deny it. No enemy can undo what has been divinely established. Child, confirmation means permanence. God says, the door is closed to the past of lack and opened permanently to the abundance of heaven. The angels who ward on your behalf have finished their assignment, and they now surround you as guardians of fulfillment. Archangel Michael emphasizes, the scroll that once contained resistance has been torn, and in its place stands a decree of favor, provision, and restoration. It is signed not with ink, but with the eternal hand of God. God says, confirmation is more than words, it is evidence. You will see signs, hear whispers, and encounter undeniable proof that the inheritance is flowing. Archangel Michael says, synchronicities will increase, doors will open suddenly, opportunities will appear without explanation. Child, do not dismiss them as chance. Recognize them as confirmations that heaven has shifted your story. The unseen has become seen, the promised has become present, the inheritance has become reality. Child, confirmation is also peace. God says, you will no longer wrestle with anxiety about whether it is real. You will no longer fear whether the blessing is secure. The peace of heaven will anchor you, reminding you that this is not the work of man, but of God. Archangel Michael says, rest in the confirmation. Trust the decree. Walk boldly, not as one waiting for favor, but as one already enveloped in it. God says, child, the confirmation also carries responsibility. Now that it is sealed, live as one who has received. Do not shrink back. Do not speak as if it has not happened. Align your words, your actions, and your posture with the reality of the blessing. Archangel Michael emphasizes, heaven responds to alignment. Confirmation is not passive. It is active participation in what God has released. Child, understand this. The confirmation is eternal. God says no system of man, no economic shift, no worldly power can override this decree. The inheritance is not bound to banks, markets, or governments. It flows from heaven, sustained by divine law, unshakable and untouchable by the plans of darkness. Archangel Michael says, when heaven confirms, earth must align. When God decrees, no voice can silence it. God says, child, your life will now carry testimony. The confirmation is not just about what you receive, it is about what others will witness. Archangel Michael emphasizes, people will see the shift, the provision, the transformation, and they will know it was God. This inheritance is not simply provision, it is proof of divine faithfulness. It is evidence that God hears, that God delivers, and that God fulfills. Child, the confirmation also carries a reminder. Remain anchored in humility, gratitude, and alignment. God says, do not let confirmation breed complacency. Let it fuel devotion. Let it deepen your worship. Let it increase your surrender. Archangel Michael says, the greater the blessing, the greater the calling. Confirmation is the beginning of responsibility to steward, to protect, and to multiply what has been entrusted to you. God says, child, I confirm that you are chosen, that you are favored, and that you are destined. The $55 million is more than wealth. It is a divine stamp of your role in a greater plan. Archangel Michael says, confirmation is heaven's way of saying, it is finished. It is secure. It is yours. Walk boldly in this truth, not as one waiting for permission, but as one carrying authority. Child, let your heart now rest. God says, no more striving, no more doubting, no more wrestling. The inheritance is anchored. The confirmation is sealed. The angels rejoice, and heaven bears witness. Archangel Michael says, step forward with confidence, for the journey of waiting has ended, and the journey of living in overflow has begun. God says, child, let this be your declaration. I am confirmed. I am aligned. I am entrusted. I am blessed. Speak it daily, for your words create reality. Archangel Michael emphasizes, your confession aligns heaven and earth. The more you declare the confirmation, the stronger the manifestation becomes in your life. Finally, child, remember this eternal truth. The confirmation is not temporary, it is forever. God says, what I confirm, no one can undo. What I release, no one can withhold. What I decree, no one can silence. The inheritance is sealed. The blessing is established. The favor is permanent. Archangel Michael says, rejoice, child, for the confirmation is here. The evidence is unfolding and the eternal decree has been delivered into your life. And so it is.